Let me share my screen with you guys. There we have it. Big up you lot. Don't forget to smash the like button. Allegedly, Arsenal turned down Balogun transfer offer from Monaco. Yesterday, David Ornstein said Arsenal have turned down a formal offer from AS Monaco for Balogun. Monaco had an opening verbal proposal for the USMN International rejected following a pre-season friendly between the clubs last week. A written bid has now also been knocked back, although Monaco's pursuit of Balogun continues. And apparently, their sporting director has a strong relationship with Edu at the club. Inter Milan are monitoring developments, but it's unclear if they've got the budget to do such, people. So we'll have to see. Lens have also been thrown into the mix, as you know, Inter and AC and all of these lot, but Monaco have actually bidded. The Inter Milan links are very aggressive. There has been tentative links to West Ham, but I would, at this moment, as an ignorant fan speaking to you lot, without knowing anything and definitely without knowing what Edu's doing, if Monaco have bidded verbally and bidded actual email, then they're on it. Inter Milan seem to be on him, so it's them clubs there. I don't know if he would lean towards Inter Milan or Monaco. Monaco's a very respectful club, a romantic club. I swear it's tax-free money there. Obviously, Balogun knows Liga. For Monaco, it'd be great because you go there, you settle down roots, they'll sell you to the highest bidder, a bit like what half of the teams that want to buy these young players are saying. But I could understand, Inter Milan's a massive club with massive previous players and massive strikers. And, he could probably speak to a lot of, I know he plays for America, but a lot of British players or young British players that have gone abroad / gone to Italy, really. So we'll have to see in that regards. Nottingham Forest apparently have reached an agreement to sign Matt Turner. Some reports say he's actually currently undergoing his medical. It's unclear what the price tag will be, but the 29-year-old is scheduled to undergo a medical, which was yesterday, but now it's Tuesday, so he's probably done that. And we're working on finalising bringing David Raya from Brentford to Arsenal as a replacement, it says here, and to compete with Aaron Ramsdale, folks. So we all have to see. Romano has weighed in on that and said negotiations continue between Arsenal and Brentford for Raya. It's getting closer. All parties hope to get it done in the next few days, hopefully before the start of the season. Raya has been very clear he wants to play for Arsenal. Again, Fabrizio was weighed in on Balogun. He said not only Inter, Monaco want to try and bid again for Balogun after the initial proposal made on Monday. He's a top target to replace Embolo, who broke his ACL. Both Inter and Monaco are expected to have situation clear this weekend. A bit like when we're going with City for Declan Rice, well, sell to the highest bidder. I don't know Balogun from anywhere, really, but I just wonder if you'll probably lean towards Inter Milan. It's a new league. It's an experienced league. It's a bigger club with the greatest of respect. But if we can get into a bit more, great. Drive up the price, keep it moving if that's what we're doing. As you can see here, apparently Balogun is prioritizing Inter Milan amid West Ham, Monaco and Lens talks. Lens, who have just sold a star striker. West Ham, who got 105 million, after Declan Rice, and they've sold Skamaka and apparently are selling Vlasic, so they got bread. I don't know, selling Balogun can come back to haunt us, but if we want anywhere from 35 to 50 million, I'm not saying clubs abroad couldn't pay the price tag, but who's more likely to overpay, quote unquote, for Balogun? It's probably going to be a British club. Balogun is prioritizing a move to Inter and mid attempts from West Ham, Monaco and Lens to agree provisional terms for the forward, according to sources by this article. So we'll have to see. Monaco aren't the only club attempting to agree terms with Balogun. Lens, West Ham and Inter also speaking to reach a provisional agreement with the Arsenal forward. Apparently he favours Inter Milan, although the Serie A side may struggle to pull off the deal due to financial demands being imposed by Arsenal. Kind of what we were speaking about. As the market goes on, clubs might have to pay a bit more for Balogun. Arsenal might have to accept a bit less. As long as we get a decent sell-on clause, maybe a buyback clause, is what it is. I want to sell Balogun for a lot of money, as you lot know, because ability and price tags in football has gone mad. We finally got a sellable asset. When you look at it, that he's probably played 10 odd times for Arsenal in cups, one league start, ain't played 90 minutes, too tough for Arsenal, if any. It's still good money on a Haylen product. Haylen has to produce players for the first team. If not, sell them, reinvest, keep it moving, a bit like Joe Willock and Iwobi. Best of luck to them in their careers. We'll have to see. Apparently, Werder Bremen, Wolfsburg are interested in Nuno Tavares. Tavares is valued by Arsenal at 30 million and is attracting interest from clubs in Italy and England, as well as from the Bundesliga. Everybody's interested in everyone. Putting bids down and negotiating is a completely different thing. But the more players that are not in Arteta's plans that can cut, the better. What is this? Oh, that's just about Monaco and Balogun. Apparently, Arsenal have rejected 30 million euros from Monaco for Balogun, really. There you have, and Jesus apparently is doing that recovery. Apparently, Turner to Nottingham Forest is to be announced today, people. Fair enough. And that's Michael Oliver has been appointed Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. I look forward to VAR doing us dirty. Marquinhos has been linked with several loan spells, and apparently he's joining Nantes in France on loan, people, which the 20-year-old, we hope he can have a good loan spell, either be sold for a profit after spending 3 million on him, or be reintegrated back into the team, really. Clearly behind Reece Nelson, evidently behind Bukayo Saka. You've got the Jesuses of this world, you've got the Havertz, you've got players who can play out wide. He needs minutes. He weren't terrible at Norwich, but after a banging debut, didn't really do too much. And he's 20 years of age, just moved to Europe. Keep developing in it, really. And apparently he'll join on a season-long loan for an initial 30, I'm moving like I can't read, 300k fee, people, while Nantes will cover 500,000 of his annual salary. Discussions are ongoing whether or not to include an option to buy for 12 million euros and a buyback for 22. Do that. Or make it mandatory if you can. Apparently, Arsenal snub Nicolas Pepe agent request with separate winger departure imminent. Allegedly, apparently Pepe's reps have so far struggled. Sorry, people, what's this? Pause that. Sorry, as I was saying, Pepe's reps have so far struggled to entice Arsenal into mutual termination of the client's contract as Besiktas continue to push for the signing of the Ivory Coast international winger. So does Arsenal think that, you know what, let's keep trying and get a transfer fee, and we believe we can, and if worse comes to worse, we'll rip up his deal? Why has that been the case? Because he's been linked with Fenerbahce and Besiktas, hasn't got over there, hasn't stayed at Nice on a permanent basis, clearly not in Arteta's plans. It's quite crazy because worse players have gone over there, but in Saudi Arabia, you heard that, unable to agree personal terms to go over there. Where we at with Pepe, really? And this is probably the one that's going to be the hardest to kind of flog, really. Apparently, the Turkish giants are prepared to explore alternative targets if his agency failed to deliver on their promise of freeing the player from the final year of his contract in North London. Arsenal have indicated in previous windows that they are prepared to tear up contracts for the greater good, as we know. Smash the like button if you haven't. Apparently, Pepe's reps are set to hold further talks with Arsenal in due course as they attempt to twist Edu's arm, and there's still a chance the landscape could change. Maybe, Arsenal saying, you know what, you want to rip up the contract, we'll give you some wages that you're owed, but we won't give you everything. And maybe Pepe and his agents aren't wanting to do that. Apparently, he's agreed terms with Besiktas, so let's see what's going on in that regards. And I do think Arteta is very clear and concise and leaves no air of doubt when he talks specifically. Equally, I think he's learned from Pep Guardiola and Arsene Wenger in that when he leaves an air of uncertainty around players, then that tells you everything, really. Like when Martinelli wasn't playing, he was crystal clear. With Saliba, he was crystal clear. With Balogun, especially when they asked him of the aftermath to Jesus' injury, he said the plan doesn't change with Balogun, and it was really media answers. So that tells you not that Balogun's ruled out, but we've probably made a decision. And on Pepe, he was quite crystal clear with the fact that his loan spell hasn't been good. And he said at the moment he's recovering from an injury, which is why he's not here. He had a spell on loan, and obviously we wanted to get much more than we got from that loan spell. We have to see when we come back, understand what the plans are, and make the right decision for him. So I think that ambiguous nature tells you everything. Apparently, former Gooner and Liverpool man Oxlade-Chamberlain could be going to Turkey. And as we said, Marquinhos is moving ever closer, allegedly, to joining Nantes on the season-long loan. Apparently, a move to Olympiacos on loan collapsed. And going to Greece, Olympiacos, a big team to play, first team footballer that, but I'd prefer him to go to a top 5 European league like in France. So best of luck, really and truly. Go and get minutes, go and develop and do what you want to do. Monaco, as we said, are trying to get Balogun. Whether they get it done is whatever. Balogun is keen to pursue a permanent transfer away from Arsenal for whatever reason. So it's crazy. You look at that picture of all our American internationals. Turner's gone, basically. Trusty's gone, and Balogun probably is gone. This is still talking about Pepe to Besiktas, people. Apparently, they have an agreement with Pepe, and apparently shaking hands with the player for a 2.5 million euro warranted fee plus bonus. So is that his yearly wages? If that is, that's quite the reduction in Pepe. So I think this is just more or less going to say the same things that we're saying, people, but we'll have to see. Everybody's linked with everyone. Moving's a different thing. Allegedly, Barcelona have responded to Arsenal's surprise approach for Ansu Fati. Barcelona have no intention of letting Fati leave the club this summer, allegedly. And I'm sure some of you have seen Caicedo's not turning up at training for Brighton. Why you signed a new deal? Only you could answer. But yeah, apparently Barca don't want to sell Fati. I don't know if they're credible and if it's on paper that we've actually bidded, but you'd have to see there. Big up Ainsley for going to Lyon on loan. Wish him the best of luck. Jorginho is understood to have no intention of leaving the club this summer. The Telegraph Sport understands Jorginho is keen to stay and fight for his place in the team, and mid reports to Turkey. So we have to see. And we're going to need your experience. We're back in the Champions League. We're going to need Jorginho. And you saw to the tail end of last year what he could do for us, really. So we're going to need to keep you. We haven't been linked with Lyon's Barcola. He's been linked with Barcelona, Manchester City, and PSG. But if you could buy him and that Turkey guy from Lyon got some good players. I would love this Focola. You can be groomed into a striker, probably performs the best off the flanks at this moment in time. Again, as you lot know, there was some rumours Kudus has agreed to move to Brighton, but BBC is saying there's still no agreement for Kudus. Brighton are understood to have reached an agreement over a fee with Ajax for the midfielder Kudus. However, there's no agreement yet between Brighton and the Ghana midfielder over personal terms. Is he stalling because there might be interest from other clubs? I don't know. Apparently, he's attracted a lot of interest this summer. He has been linked with Man United, and also it says here both Chelsea and Arsenal are keen on him, and they'll be interested to see what's going on there, people. Apparently, Ajax and Brighton have a secret agreement for Kudus since the beginning of July. Ever since then, both clubs have been waiting for Kudus' decision. Kudus wanted to take his time, but now Brighton is pushing for an answer. They want to know whether to make or break the deal in the next hours. So that will tell you where he's heading, people. Ornstein has spoken about Balogun, people, and what specifically has he said? They have Jesus and Ketia Balogun. The expectation is that Arsenal, to our knowledge, are not in the market for a striker. They have Jesus and Ketia. Balogun, the exception is that he will leave, but it's not done yet. They have auxiliary options like Trossard and Kai Havertz, which is true. You could probably throw a couple of other names into that, people. Romano has been speaking specifically. What has he said in relation to Raya? The negotiation with Brentford was very complicated. Now Arsenal are in direct contact with Brentford. There is a discussion going on even today while I'm speaking. They are discussing the terms of the deal. Arsenal made a bid last week of 20 million plus add-ons, and it is a very concrete possibility to see a deal done this week. Hopefully that does get done and we sign the individual people. It's as simple as that. In terms of Arsenal news, again, keep your thoughts on that coming. It doesn't appear that there's anything else in the papers and whatnot, folks, but let me go on Google and change the filters to an hour. This is why I hate using this Brave browser, because it takes me to their search engine. I don't really want to use that. Let's type in Arsenal. Change the filter to an hour. And let's see what's come out. Right. Spurs are selling that Jed Spence you. Martinelli was nice enough to give you a career there, man. Really and truly. He was nice enough to give you a career. I mean, I guess there's a couple, 1-2 bits and pieces here, people, actually. Oh, fair enough. Let's go over there. It seems like there is some 1-2 things better there, people. So let's go back into it. Sorry, pulled the plug on that segment of our live stream, probably prematurely. Very confident pundit says David Ornstein has privately told him Arsenal will sign incredible player. Everybody's told everyone in it, really and truly. It all depends on the pundit, you know. If it's Gary Neville, I'm not going to take it in. Oh, it's Adrian Clark. Big up my guy Clarky. Yeah, all right, cool. I'm awake. I'm listening. Make sure you're checking out the video I did with Adrian Clark, which we do every year. Apparently, he said we will see. I bumped into Orny and we had a little bit of a chin wag, and he said he was very confident on the Raya deal being finalized in the next couple of days. So yeah, let's see. You know my thoughts on it. I think we're a stronger squad having both of them. Big up Adrian Clark. He ain't lied. Fair enough. I think, you know, bit of a mad headline there from you, but yeah, we've already spoken about Tavares, but clubs in the Bundesliga have been name dropped in Werder Bremen and Wolfsburg. In my opinion, he's the best left back at the club. I can't believe Arteta isn't playing him. Timber's not that good in comparison to him. Neither is Tomiyasu Kiri or Zinchenko or Tierney. Please don't buy Tavares. Please don't. We can't fight for the title without him. Please. I can't believe Arteta is going to sell him. Werder Bremen, you're getting the best young Portuguese fullback there is, really and truly. Might as well take him, really. But apparently, on a serious note, Wolfsburg and Werder Bremen have been name dropped. So we'll have to see, really. I don't know if there's credibility in Ojogo. I think that's out of Portugal. So I have to see. We want 15 million euros, 30 million quid, which is a decent little profit off the 8 million we spent in 2021. It's just not the thing, man. Tavares can't help us, people. Apparently, who is this? His agent has said that he wants to stay at Arsenal. Yeah, and I want to date with Kelly Rowland still. Nuno is still under contract at Arsenal. He wants to stay in the team, but let's see what happens in the future. I mean, your agent's going to kind of say that, but we'll have to see. Apparently, Sociedad are targeting a loan spell for Kieran Tierney. I mean, I'm team Kieran Tierney. I don't want to be reactionary, but after that little cameo, it just looks like the system's left you, my guy. But apparently, he's wanted by Sociedad on loan. Doesn't really help us, really. I'm keeping Tierney unless we get an offer that makes sense. I know you want to play first team football, Tierney, and you're more than welcome to push for a deal. Hope Newcastle come in for you if you want to leave so we can get money, but forget all of that. We need you for the squad. Loan ain't going to help us, really and truly. Once again, AS Roma and Inter Milan are interested in Balogun. Tavares and Pepe are expected to leave. Patino is also expected to depart either on loan or permanently. And Burnley are still in talks over Lokonga on loan. Lokonga's probably the forgotten man of all the one-to-way players. I think this is in relation to Balogun again. At this moment in time, we're talking about the same things. He's only played 43 minutes over 2 friendlies. He has been injured, but I don't think Arteta is planning with you. I think you and your agents and whatnot have probably had a conversation with Arteta and it's probably agreed that keep it moving now, innit? Why can't we just sign Felix? It's better to risk it than strain Saka with the increased game time and extra time in games. But I think what we've seen with Arsenal, they'll only move for players if they're 100% convinced. You know, you can't on ability, yeah, but it just can't be an ability thing. Balogun twerking for Inter. I mean, Balogun seems to just be a social media badina, if I'm honest with you. Why did we sign Turner? He was here for like 1 or 2 seasons. That's it. Probably for USA exposure. I mean, who knows, really? Matt Turner probably just forced the ball and said, I want to leave. Who knows? If we can make a profit, keep it moving. I've never been 100% convinced with Matt Turner, so I'm on for David Raya, if I'm honest. 40 million plus for Balogun is unrealistic, to be honest. I mean, if you're buying Balogun, put yourself... I think Arsenal are right to demand top dollar. But if I'm Inter, if I'm Roma, if these things, just because you got money don't mean you want to pay certain fees. I'm going to sit there and say to Arsenal, boy, he's only done it 1 season. He's contracted until 2025. If you keep him here at Arsenal and he doesn't play, then his stock might not be as high. Or if he doesn't, if you stay and he plays 38 games or he goes on loan again or whatever, not that he's going on loan and he doesn't do what he did, then his stock's going to drop. You might have to just take this bread I got now because essentially it's a gamble. Why do we keep going for left wingers? I'm still upset we didn't get Diaby. That is what it is. Arteta just shows naivety and seems to never learn. Why can't you sign a right wing or a striker before a keeper or keep Balogun then? Bit harsh. He's potentially the greatest Portuguese Benfica Academy Marseille loaned left back to ever be born in the 2000s. 40 billion at least. Big up yourself, S, as well. He's going to Nantes now. Big him up. How much game time would Balogun get at a team like Inter? Litoro would most of the time, and he's not good with his back to goal. If he deems he can play goal playing, I just think he wants to know where he stands. And if they're going to sign you for 35, 40, maybe even 50 odd million, you're probably going to play a lot more over them sides than you would at Arsenal. But I think Balogun, I don't know you, but seems like there's a bit more self-awareness that you need to develop. I think you need to mature a bit and realize sometimes it's not about ability, really. And stop the social media antics. I thought we left that with Ainsley Maitland-Niles, if I'm brutally honest. Much love, had to hit the like for the squad. Appreciate you lot, man. Without you lot, it's dead, really and truly. Like without you. And on that note, really, 132 likes on YouTube. Twitch gang, you're doing what you need to do. Keep your thoughts coming before we cut people. What comment is that said? If we had 50 million, who you buying, DG? 50 million in this day and age don't go too far, does it? But I try find a couple of extra million and activate the release clause of Zubamendi. We don't really need it, but I would try and talk to Leon about Bacola, if I'm honest. I hope Arteta keeps playing Havertz centre forward, best position for him. How has Højlund been sold for 70 million when he scored under 10 goals? Because he's a player that market is selling to this club. If Man United, a bit like Arsenal, anyone, if you try and buy these players, you're paying tourist rates. Kudus 50 million is good value. Ain't they saying 40 million? Don't get on to Ainsley. His girl is active on socials. Allow it, man. Gravenbeck, them rumors seem to have gone. I don't know if Bayern Munich apologies have told him you're going to play. But again, with 3 weeks left of the window, you're going to see a lot of things happen, really. Maybe not just necessarily connected to Arsenal, but in the wider world of football, really. You'd expect things to happen. Elise is available for 30M. Seems like he's going Chelsea or City based on media reports, and it doesn't seem like we're in for him. But if we could bring Elise to the carpet, I think he's a perfect player for Mikel Arteta's system and a very versatile player with on an upward trajectory. If you could get, I think our fans overrate Kudus a bit, but him, Elise, they'd be good options. Balogun is the new Anelka. Get rid of him. Bit harsh. 50 million. I'm going for Tony. I hear that. Big up DG. Hit the like you a lot more, man. Havertz should go bench. Marking